Hi, my name is Sylvie. I am a certified health coach and fitness trainer, and I strive to help you improve your flexibility of the body, the metabolism, and the mindset through fasting, stretching, and mindfulness. And in today's video, we are going to go through some of my favorite yoga stretches for flexibility. We're going to get started in the half frog pose, and to do that, you're going to lie on your belly with your elbows at a 90-degree angle, and then you're going to bend your left knee and grab your left foot with your left hand, and then you can stay here if that's what is enough for you, or you can turn your fingers towards your back and bring your feet in closer to stretch your quads. And as you do that, make sure you're not sinking in your elbows, kind of like this. Lift up through your chest, maybe tuck in your chin slightly, and breathe. You can also press your belly button towards your spine. That'll protect your lower back. I really enjoy the yoga stretches that have multi-purpose. Like this one, for example, is great. It helps you improve your back flexibility. It stretches your front body, your quads, your shoulders. We're gonna switch leg. As you do that, you can also feel your weight evenly distributed on your forearm, as well as the palm of your hand. And you're lifting up through your chest. I've said it before and I'll say it again. As you get to know these routines, listen to music, watch your favorite show, make those stretching sessions really enjoyable. You're more likely to stay consistent if you enjoy this time, and you should be consistent if you want to see results. I recommend that you stretch at least 3 times a week, preferably every single day. Next, we're going to do a mixture of the upward facing dog and the active Cobra pose. I discovered the active Cobra recently, and I really think it's a great stretch because it'll help you increase your back strength, which is also really important for a lot of yoga stretches for flexibility. All the back bends, you need a lot of back strength. So we're going to start with your hands underneath your shoulders, just like that, and you press through the tops of your feet, and you lift up. As you also lift up the palm of your hands, so you're like really using your strength. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to lift up in upward facing dog, and as you are in your upward facing dog, you keep shooting the energy through your legs. You're pressing through the tops of your feet, shooting the energy through your legs, pressing your belly button towards your spine, lifting up through your chest, We're gonna stay here for a few breaths before we do the active Cobra again. Now you can lower it down. I'm gonna lift up the palms of your hands again for a few breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to upward facing dog. One last active Cobra. You lift up as you inhale. Two, 3, 4, 5. Our last upward facing dog. As you shoot the energy through your legs here, you'll notice that your thighs are not touching the mat. You're keeping your legs straight. Have a seat. Now we're going to get into pigeon pose. The pigeon pose is one of my favorite all-time yoga stretches for flexibility. You may need a block to get into pigeon depending on your flexibility level. And if you do use a block, you'll be putting it underneath your front thigh, just like so. So you'll be sitting on it just like that. It helps you keep your hips facing forward, and it helps you balance in the pose. Or you can take it out if you're flexible enough. And as your flexibility increases, you may bring your foot further from your hip. Like here, you could make your shin parallel to the top of the mat. And I kind of like this version when I lean forward into the stretch. But right now, as we are just going to sit straight up, I usually keep my foot closer to my body. But play around with it, see what works for you. And then as you open up, you can also bend your back leg to grab your foot. And as you can see, I'm just putting my foot in my elbow joint. That's something else that is going to intensify your quad stretch. And when you're in that stretch, make sure you're lifting through your chest, pressing your belly button against your spine, keeping your legs active, kind of like a scissor force. I'm gonna switch leg. As your flexibility increases, you'll probably end up bending your back leg sooner. But at first, you may just keep your back leg straight the whole time, and then you may bend it a bit later in the session. You really have to just listen to your body and see what feels good. Next, we're going to get into lizard lunge. You can take your right leg forward first, and you're going to support yourself on your hands and keep your back knee lifted. And then you're going to lift and lower your back knee a few times. Next, you can keep your back knee lifted, or you can also bring it down on your mat, untuck your toes, get a block or two, and then see if you can lower yourself down on your elbows. You can see what happens when you lift up your back knee. How does that feel? Does it stretch you more? Does it feel better? Or do you prefer your knee down? You experiment with those things, and what works best might change from one training session to another. Another thing you can do is you can bend your back leg, and then you're going to use your opposite hand to grab your foot. Another nice squat stretch. You know it's a good stretch when your whole body wants to tense up. You have to make a conscious effort to relax in the stretch. We're gonna switch leg. up and down. A bit of an active stretch here. 4 and 5. And now I'm going to lower down on my elbows. And I'm going to untuck my back foot. I'm going to bend my back leg and grab it with the opposite hand. That's a really great stretch. Next, we're going to get into bridge with the option to do a wheel. Lie on your back, press through your heels, lift up your butt, and see if you can graze the back of your heels with your fingertips. And here, you'll keep pressing through your heels to lift higher and higher. You'll feel that it opens up your chest, it stretches your front body. And then you can take your hands on the sides of your head and press to the crown of your head. See if your hands are well aligned. Keep your elbows inward, don't let them flare out. And then lift up. Just gonna take a few breaths. Lower down slowly. Now you get to stay on your back after this demanding yoga stretch. You get to lie on your back to stretch your hamstring. You may need a yoga strap, but you can just use your hands if you don't have one. We're gonna start with your right leg. So you can grab your right foot. You're gonna lift up, down. So you can do it like I'm doing right now without a strap. Or you can use your strap and use it, press on the back of your foot and up and down a few times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you're just gonna stretch here. What I like about this stretch is that even as you get more and more flexible in a hamstring, you can always go further. Like I can do the splits now, yet I cannot bring my leg closer than that to my body. So really, it takes a lot to be like flexible enough to just bring your leg so close to your body that you can't stretch anymore. So it's a great stretch to always improve your hamstring flexibility. Also, you can play around with the stretch, and you can point your toes toward the right for a while, then you can point your toes toward the middle and then the left. So we're gonna start here on the right. Next, we're going to move to the middle. Lastly, move your foot to the left. And as you do that, make sure that you are pinning your right hip to the ground. You're not lifting up as you are pointing your toes toward the left. I'm gonna switch leg. I'm gonna start with the more active stretch here. I'm gonna do that 5 times. And you can use your yoga strap like we did on the first leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you're going to be pointing your toes towards your left. Bring your foot to the middle. Lift your kneecap as you stretch your hamstring. Make sure you're lifting your kneecap up. That'll help intensify the stretch. It's Grand Central Station here today with my cat and my dog. And my children. But I'll probably edit that part out. You won't see that. Next, we're going to be pointing your toes towards the right. Almost finished with that stretch. Then we have one last yoga stretch for flexibility left to go. I think that was a great routine. It feels really good. I just realized that I was lifting my left hip a little bit. Try to remember to keep your left hip pinned down. Okay, so this is our last stretch, and what you're going to do is you're going to stand up and you're going to bend at the hip. You're pulling forward. Actually, I'm going to turn. You're pulling forward as you're bending at the hip. You're lifting, engaging your lower abs, and pressing your tailbone up. You can use yoga blocks if you cannot touch the mat. Just use yoga blocks. Another great tip is to bend your knees. So bend your knees enough that you can bring your belly in your chest on your thighs. And once your chest and your bellies are touching your thighs, you can slowly straighten your legs while remaining glued to your thighs. And while you are making sure that you're lifting your tailbone up. And you can also grab your ankles and use that activation to get deeper in your stretch. As you exhale, move your hips from side to side if that helps. Also, try to not bring your weight back in your heels. Spread your weight evenly on your feet, even closer to your toes. You can always get deeper into that stretch as you fold closer and closer to your thighs. And you could even raise yourself up to get lower, to bring your hands down on the mat even lower. Alright, that's it for today's flexibility routine. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.